Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on a KTN NewsDesk on this 17th day of January 2016, the second day of the mass voter registration exercise launched yesterday by the IEBC, the second and last phase of the mass voter registration ahead of the August 8th elections. And we will be keeping tabs on how the exercise is ongoing in various parts of the country, and among them we will also be taking a look at Nyeri, and Carol Nderi will be giving us updates on how the exercise is ongoing in Nyeri, as well as we will be looking at the special sitting in Parliament and some of the discussions that are ongoing with the IEBC nominations of commissioners and the chairperson, as well as the EACC. Murimi Mwangi will be keeping us up to date with that in the bulletin. But as of now, let's take a look at the highlights. IEBC nominees to know their fate today as members of parliament vote to decide on their nomination. Voters listing enters day 2 as most potential new voters keep away. And government announces the release of 21 million bags of maize from NCPB to fight biting hunger. Good afternoon. My name is Akisa Wandera, and our sign language interpreter is Lensa Owino. Now, Wafula Chebukati and 6 other nominees to the electoral body will know their fate today as members of parliament discuss a report on their nomination. The National Assembly is set to debate their nomination this afternoon in a motion that is expected to sail through without hitches. This is after the Legal Affairs Committee gave them a clean bill of health. We're now joined by our reporter Murimi Mwangi, who is joining us live from Parliament buildings. A very good afternoon to you, Murimi. Thank you for joining us. Just to take us through the proceedings as they were in the morning.
Good afternoon, Akisa. In roughly 1.5 hours from now, we expect the National Assembly to reconvene for that special sitting where they will be debating 2 reports from the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. One report with regards to the nomination of Eliud Wabukala, the retired Archbishop of the ACK, as the new chair of the EACC, as well as another report that from the Justice Committee that endorsed the nomination of the 7 commissioners to the IEBC, that of course inclusive of the chair nominee, Mr. Wafula Chebukati. It is a debate that many have said could see Parliament endorse the names in totality. But of course, just to get a gist on some of these issues that are likely to emerge in that debate, given that the MPs have been reading that report since morning, let me speak to Kiminini MP, Mr. Chris Wamalo. Mheshimiwa, we have seen so much talk about these candidates, particularly for the IEBC. What is your expectation when those names are tabled before Parliament? Do you have any reservations against any of the 7 persons?
First, I want to confirm that the names have already been tabled, and in line with our standing orders, you can't table and give a notice of motion and maybe debate the matter. That's why the morning session was only allowed for purposes of tabling the report and also giving a notice of motion, so that in a different session which is coming in the afternoon, that is the time we're going to debate. And this is because at that particular time, we'll have given the honorable members time to go through the report so that can be able to debate from an informed perspective. Personally, myself, I've gone through the report and I have no doubt that these are good candidates. And I want to thank the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee for the work well done. They've looked at the issues of Chapter 6 in terms of the leadership and integrity, and all this is operationalized in the Parliamentary Approval Act. So in terms of vetting, you have to go as per the particular framework which is already provided for in the law. And having looked at the report, I have no doubt that the particular 2 chairs, that is the chair of ethics and corruption, this is Wabukala, it's going to go through. I know we've had a very difficult history in terms of the chairs of EACC. Since the time we had Haron Mwau, who never lasted even for a year. Then after the Haron Mwau, I think we had Ringera. Ringera came in. PLO Lumumba came in with very heavy English. He talked of high voltage, going for the big fish. We never saw anything. We saw Matemo coming, and all have been coming and going. So really, this is the time we are having at least somebody from the church. And we are very optimistic that this person from the church, in the name of the retired Dr. Bukala, maybe is going to provide that needed leadership that's actually been lacking. And my humble request is to request the Secretariat not to give them a hard time. I want them to work as a team, and I have no doubt that Dr. Bukala is going to carry the day. I don't think members are going to oppose this. From the way I've looked at the vetting, the way it was done, the way he presented himself, obviously he's the guy to watch. Coming to the ESCC, I mean the IEBC. IEBC is very critical, particularly at such a time where we're going to go for elections. You remember these commissioners were out not just because of a walk in the park. Many people lost lives, property was lost, ABCD, and the church came in, and it was something which was an agreement with the government side so that we can have these commissioners. And remember, these commissioners, after tendering their resignation, they are still in the office. And one of the critical clauses were that before they leave office, they must be able to hand over to somebody. So this tells you we have been running out of time, and you want these people to be out like yesterday. So really going through the report, I have no doubt. For example, like the chair, Wafula Chebukati, with more than 30 years of experience. Again, when it comes to the public, in line with the vetting requirement, the notice is given within a week where the public are supposed to maybe bring an affidavit against that particular candidate. So far, we are told that Chebukati, nobody brought an affidavit against. That means the public has confidence in him. Personally, myself, I also have confidence in him. The way he presented himself, the way he answered the questions with more than 30 years of experience in practicing law, I have no doubt that in the next few minutes we are going to see Chebukati's name going through, and now it will be upon His Excellency the President now to appoint him officially so that he can take over, so that we can be able to move in terms of the elections process. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Mheshimiwa. This is a conversation that we will be having for the better part of the day, even as the debate continues in the chambers. Thank you for your time. And now that has been the Kiminini MP, Mr. Chris Wamalwa, of course, confirming what has been said in political circles, that these names might sell through in the debate that is coming up in the next few, 1.5 hours or so. But of course, the debate on the ESCC will take 2 hours. Well, that one on the IEBC commissioners will be taking 3 hours. Interesting times to watch, given that the country is gearing up for the 2017 elections. Back to you in studio.
Murimi, thank you very much for that. And definitely we will be bringing you live proceedings here on KTN News as the National Assembly resumes in the afternoon. But away from that, ODM party leader Raila Odinga is asking youth in Nairobi who have not registered to do so in large numbers in order to bring change. Raila, while addressing aspirants from the city, said the only way to send Jubilee home was through registering now and voting come August 8th this year. He was speaking in the company of other Nairobi leaders, including Governor Evans Kidero.
Akili ni mali, tumeni akili. Tuna akili. Akili yetu ndio itatuokoa. Sisi tunataka kuonyesha Jubilee ya kwamba Kenya mzima haitaki Jubilee. Na hii ishara itatoka hapa Nairobi. Wana tunajua mjumbe wa kutoka kule Siaya atakuwa ni Mjaluo. Yule atatoka Kakamega ni Mluhya. Atatoka kule Machakos ni Mkamba. Yule ambaye atatoka huko upande wa Garissa ni Msomali. Na kadhalika, sio? Hapa Nairobi ndio mchanganyiko maalum. Hapa ndio tutapata Mjaluo, tutapata Mluhya, tutapata Mkamba, tutapata Kikuyu, tutapata Mijikenda, tutapata Masai na kadhalika.
All right, let's now take a look at the second day of the mass voter registration after it was launched yesterday by the IEBC. We start off from Nyeri, where our senior reporter Carol Nderi will be giving us a brief. Good afternoon, Carol. How has the exercise been conducted in Nyeri today?
Good afternoon. Yes, day 2 of the mass voter registration exercise. Nyeri County, it is off to a slow start, not quite active, but perhaps this can be attributed to what Kenyans say last-minute running or the 11th hour syndrome. Maybe they will continue turning up at the centers to register themselves. And yesterday we also did a spot check on a number of voter registration centers, and you did speak to the Deputy County Commissioner John Marete, and by the time we were speaking to him yesterday, he said there were about 430 people here in Nyeri County who had registered themselves. There are those who are also coming to confirm if their details are correct, if at all they are appearing in the list of those who have been registered. We are at Kiamwathi. This is a location in Tetu in Nyeri County, one of the centers, the voter registration centers. Not very busy, as you can see, not very many people. We found these officials, will be talking to them. And perhaps if we could talk to a gentleman we found here, he was confirming his details if they are correct. Habari yako?
Mzuri.
Unaitwa nani tafadhali?
Mimi naitwa Lawrence Deuri kutoka hapa Kemwadhi, na nimekuja tu kucheck kama details zangu ni sawa, na nimecheck nikaona ni sawa kabisa, na mimi nahisi kila mtu yule ambaye amechukua haja check vizuri kama rekodi zake ni sawa. Kama hajachukua haja ajiandikishe, na tuwe na amani na tuendelee na siku ya kuvote, tuwe tukijua ati ya kweli vote ndio kinga ya mtu.
Ndio nimekupata ukiwa peke yako. Naona wengine wamefika, lakini umekaa hapo ukiwa peke yako kwa muda mrefu. Unaona kama watu bado hawajajitokeza katika eneo hili hapa Nyeri, ama unaonaje maoni yako?
Mimi nikiangalia ni vile tu ni siku, labda leo ni siku ya pili. Kwa hivyo maybe kuanzia kesho watu watakuwa wengi na watakuwa kiendelea kuja kwa wiki. Tena hapa tukiwa hapa within the central town, stations ni mingi. Kwa hivyo na tena watu kama tukiwa within the town, watu wengi ni civilized, kwa hivyo at least kila mtu ako na vote.
Tayari watu wamejiandikisha wengi. Sawa, asante sana.
Kuna watu wengi ambao wanaingia.
Tukimalizia ujumbe wako wa mwisho kwa Wakenya kote, sababu hii ni exercise inayoendelea kote.
Ni kuhisi kila mtu awe na kura yake, akijua ya kwamba hiyo ndio kinga yake, na wakati wa vote to vote zote, na tuwe na amani kabisa.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Kindly, I can see you're a young man. Have you checked your details? Have you registered as a voter?
I'm not yet checked. Lakini nitakuja hapa niangalie kama jina langu iko kwa orodha ya wapigaji kura.
Unasubiri nini ndugu? Walianza jana ama kwa sababu unaona uko na muda unasema hujajiandikisha mbona?
Nitaangalia saa hii. Kitu ile iko na shida niliandikisha kitambulisho, na wakati nilipoandikisha kitambulisho sasa iko na miezi 3 sijapata kitambulisho. Hiyo ndio shida tuko nayo. Ukienda kuuliza na pia uenda kwa Huduma Center, ukienda huko hakuna vitambulisho. Hiyo ndio shida tulio nayo hapa.
Unasema umesubiri kipande chako kwa miezi 3?
Miezi 3 na bado haijaingia.
Kwa hivyo ujumbe ni kwa serikali waharakishe utoaji wa vipande?
Ujumbe ni kwa serikali, hiyo vitambulisho vyetu watu waharakishe hiyo, kwa sababu kuna watu ambao hawana kula ili wapate nafasi ya kuchukua kula, kwa sababu bila kitambulisho huwezi ukapata kula. Kwa hivyo nahimiza serikali iharakishe hiyo vitambulisho na ili tuwe na nafasi ya kuchukua kula. Asante
sana na siku njema. Asante. Mzee, habari yako? Unaitwa nani? Tafadhali simama hapa, tunazungumza kwa KTN.
Steven Jero Mazenge.
Steven Jero
Mazenge.
Umejiandikisha kwa kura, mbona kura?
Kama zamani. Kwanza niko na kipande, na kipande yangu inanilazimisha kupiga kura. Na kwanza nimeshukuru sana kwa nyinyi mnakuja kutuhoji. Ningetaka sana watu wachukue kura, alafu siku ikifika wampigie mwenye atakawa kichaguliwa kura. Kwanza wamchague Uhuru Kenyatta.
Haya, ndio kura ni yako, usemi ni wako. Ujumbe kwa watu wa hapa Nyeri na Kenya kwa jumla kuhusu uchaguzi.
Ujumbe ni kwanza ni kwamba watu wachukue kura ndio waweze kuchagua mtu ile ambaye anataka. Sina mengi.
Asante sana. Nakutakia kila laheri. Maybe if we could speak to one of the officials who are conducting the exercise. Hello, how are you?
I'm very fine.
Kindly, we are live on KTN News. If you do not mind, we'd like to talk to you. My name is Carol. You can tell us how the exercise has been. This is day 2. How many people have come to this particular center in Kiamwadi? Kindly start with your names.
I'm Margaret Wamboi Getao. I'm registering in Kiamwadi Registration Center. Yesterday we had 17 people who turned up, and today we have only 5, but we think by the end of the day the people will have turned out, especially those who are in the jobs. You know, they are only available in the evenings.
Oh, so you're recording a higher number in the evenings when people leave work?
Yeah.
Okay. And at those you've seen or those you've seen so far, like the gentleman we've just spoken to, he was coming to confirm details. Others are coming to register. And you, what are the dynamics there? Are most just coming to confirm, or are they are coming to register fresh?
Okay, bearing in mind that we had a mass registration in the 2013, so the database is with the IBC. So we just having a few number of those who are not registered in the 2013. Those who maybe took the ID later, or those who are not eligible by then. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Perhaps any final word? An appeal to...
Okay, maybe I can say we also have a large number who are coming to be changed voter transfer, but I maybe say that all voter transfers should be done in the offices, constituency office.
Oh yes, there's that perhaps my vote, I registered somewhere else and now I want to change. You're seeing a number of those. Kindly, for clarification, you're telling them that where should they do this?
Okay, in Nyeri town constituency, everybody who want to do a transfer should go to the Nyeri constituency offices at Huduma Center.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Have a lovely afternoon. Some of the views from the residents of Nyeri themselves who are coming to register during this voter registration exercise day 2. We've also spoken to one of the officials here saying that they are registering a higher number in the evening as they await people to leave work, and also those who are hoping to transfer their details from perhaps a different center where they were last time to a center nearer where they work maybe, or where they live now, that is Nyeri, and they are advised to go to the Huduma Center here in Nyeri town. But we'll continue keeping spot check or just going around the centers and updating you. But fact is, day 2 here in Nyeri, still a bit of a slow start.
Carol, thank you very much. Carol joining us from Nyeri County. And here in Nairobi, the exercise was the same. We also saw leaders trying to mobilize people who have not registered as voters to go and do the same. And our reporter, Timothy Otieno, has been doing a spot check. He now joins us for an update on some of the things that he has seen and the address that has been made by opposition leader Raila Odinga. Good afternoon, Tim. What can you report from where you are now?
Here in Nairobi, I am at one of the polling registration bureaus here in Nairobi West, where not much activity, even as the second day of the mass voter registration continues across the country. As you can see behind me, just basically a polling agent who is doesn't have much to do. We've been here for the last about 30 minutes or so. We did see not more than 5 people coming in to register as voters ahead of the next general elections, and the situation has been replicated in most of the polling stations within Nairobi. Really slow numbers, perhaps pegged on the fact that it's on a Tuesday, so perhaps people are going to work and they may not have as much time to leave office and come and register, but also over the fact that Kenyans have been known to be to do last-minute touches on issues. So perhaps the final days of the registration that is supposed to end on February the 14th, we may see more numbers coming up. But I'm joined by one of the residents here in Nairobi West who did visit this particular registration center, but of course his was a case of coming to confirm whether his name was indeed in the voter register. He had registered prior to the 2013 general elections. Thank you so much for joining KTN News. Perhaps you could begin by telling us your name and what was the process like when you visited this center.
My name is Akol Abubakar Muhammad Jama. I visited the Nairobi West IEBC registration. It was simple, and I mean they are very welcoming. They're urging people to come and vote. I personally gave my ID and they confirmed that I was in the voter register.
Perhaps how long did that process take, the confirmation process?
3 minutes to 4 minutes, something like that. 3 to 4 minutes.
Perhaps if you could describe to some of the Kenyans who may want to know whether they are in the voter register, what does it take, what should you come with to the station, and what are the modalities and the procedure generally?
You should personally come with your identification card, visit your nearest IEBC voter registration. They'll ask your names, confirm the picture, and they'll tell you if you are in the system, in the IEBC voter register.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Of course, that's just one of the residents here in Nairobi West who did say that he came to confirm that his name was indeed in the register. He says he's a vying aspirant, I believe, for...
I'm personally vying for the Nairobi West MCA. I'm asking all the youth of Nairobi West to come, cast their vote, because we want the voice of Kenyans to be heard. And the only place the voice of Kenyans can be heard is through the voter registration. We ask all Kenyans, the youth, the old, the working class, the poor, to come and do their voter registration.
All right, thank you very much and all the best in your aspirations. Of course, there a call for Kenyans to come out and register as voters. As it stands, the numbers are really, really low in this particular area, but of course, it's a 1-month process, so perhaps the tide may change. IEBC, of course, targeting about 6.1 million voters to be registered over the next 4 weeks or so. Of course, remembering that 9 million have their IDs but are yet to register. Will the IEBC meet its target? Remember, the last time they did this, they had targeted 4 million registered voters during phase 1 of the exercise, but they only managed a paltry 1.4 million registered voters. Perhaps will this time be different? The next couple of days will be a determinant to that factor, whether IEBC will indeed succeed in registering the target that they hope to achieve. Akisa.
Timothy, thank you very much for that report. And when we get back, we'll also be taking a look at how that exercise is being conducted in Kisumu and Nakuru County. So stay tuned for that. But at this point, we'll take a short break. Don't go too far. This is KTN NewsDesk. We continue with our coverage of the mass voter registration exercise day 2 as the IEBC targets new voters 6 million, 4 million on the lower side and 6 million at a maximum in this 1-month-long exercise that is expected to end on February the 14th. Let's take a look at the situation in Nakuru County and how the exercise has been conducted. Let's speak to our reporter Victor Ogale in Nakuru. A very good afternoon to you, Victor. How is the process being conducted in Nakuru County?
Well, Akisa, unlike yesterday where we had long queues, though most of the centers that we went to were in Nakuru, which is more of an urban area. Today we decided to go to sub-counties, other polling centers that are in the rural area, and we've gone to Oljurai, we've gone to Gilgil, we've gone to Kabazi, Bahati, and Subukia. And I am in a Russia location, which is in Subukia constituency. And most of the polling centers that are here in the rural areas have recorded low turnout compared to yesterday, and perhaps that could be greatly owed to the fact that most of the people here are farmers, and perhaps they are in their farms doing 1 or 2 things, and they'll end up coming to the shopping center, rather to these polling centers in the evening. So this is day 2 perhaps, and we have hopes that things might change as the days proceed. Though I am here with the chief of Arasha location, who's Mr. Njaramba, who together with other gentlemen decided to do some sort of voter mobilization, talking to people to come and register, even talking to people to come and confirm, perhaps just to make sure that they are in the record, and also to go and pick their IDs at his office. Mr. Njaramba, very good afternoon. Perhaps just tell us how the mobilization has been.
Okay, mobilization is very good. We are trying to mobilize each and everyone to come and register for votes. And also we are telling those who have not corrected their IDs to go and correct them so that they can register for votes. That is because these are very short, not to be late for registration, that is.
Okay, there's also a colleague of Mr. Njaramba, Mr. Githinji, who's just here next to me. I'm also going to talk to Mr. Githinji. Githinji, a very good afternoon. Labda tu tueleze, mmekuwa mkitembea pamoja na mwenzako bwana chifu Mr. Njaramba. Tueleze hiyo shughuli imekuwaje kwenda mkizungumza na watu ili so that they can come na wakate kura.
Okay, tumejaribu kuzungumza na watu lakini wengi wanalia sababu distance coverage ama BVR ziko mbali. So watu wanasema wagoje zifike karibu na kwao. So lakini tuna hope tutahit the target.
Na kuna watu labda unaenda unazungumza na mtu, unaona mtu hataki, roho yake ni ngumu. There are people who are very stubborn, unajaribu kumuelezea njoo ufanye hivi. Mtu kama huyo labda unazungumza aje ili kumhimiza ili mwisho aje akate kura?
Kitu ya kwanza, kuchukua kura ni haki yake kikatiba. Kwa hivyo wakati tutachagua mtu ambaye hafai, asilalamike sababu yeye ndiye amefanya nini, huyo mtu apite mwenye atakikani. So kwa hivyo tunasema kila mtu achukue kura, hiyo ndio ngao ya kuchagua mtu ambaye anatakikana.
La mwisho bwana Githinji, kuna maeneo mengine tulienda jana na tukapata kuwa kuna mambo kama voter transportation. Mtu kama kwa mfano kama ni aspirant anataka kiti fulani, iwe ni cha udiwani au cha ubunge, anaenda analeta watu kutoka eneo fulani waje wajiandikishe. Sijui kama hapa mmeshuhudia mambo kama hayo.
Hatujashuhudia hata kidogo. Wenye tunaenda tunakuta kwa police station ni watu ambao tunaishi day to day. Tunajua wote.
Well, Akisa, that's all we have from Nakuru. From here, we go to Rashid Ronald, who's on standby in Kisumu County.
All right, thank you very much, Victor, for that. Let's cross over just live to Kisumu and see how, try to compare how the situation has been in Nakuru and Kisumu County. Rashid, good afternoon. How is the exercise in Kisumu? What are the updates so far?
Yeah, good afternoon, Akisa Wandera. Things are moving on well here in Kisumu. As we speak right now, I'm at a place called Kondele. I know when I talk of Kondele, everybody knows in the country. It has a long history when it comes to politics and all other social issues. Okay, from yesterday, what I can say is that I've moved from various registration centers here in Kisumu. And compared to yesterday, I think the numbers are increasing day by day. The turnout is good. Talking to those officers in various polling stations, they're telling that the numbers has really increased and they're expecting it to go even higher as time goes. Remember, it's a 1-month exercise. And we are talking of a serious mobilization here in Kisumu, or they've decided even to involve street families from yesterday, whereby they're trying to ensure that they also register, they also vote in the coming election. For those who are somehow not sound in mind, there are social workers who are moving around them, trying to advise them on how to go about the process. So I can clearly say that the exercise is moving on well since yesterday. And in Kisumu, I have with me one man who is moving around Kisumu town since yesterday, trying to mobilize people to actually register using branded vehicles, road shows here. And in fact, here at Kondele, there is what I can call behind there one of the polling stations. It's mobile. They'll be here for 2 days. They were today and tomorrow. Then they'll move to another place. So, speaking to you, Richard Ogendo, tell us about this exercise. How are you moving on?
I think the turnout is awesome. It's great. I think we've done a fabulous job by going and mobilizing people and giving people civic education to turn out. And I think since our party leader also said people should come out, our people have followed the queue and they're coming out in good numbers. We are so impressed how they worked yesterday, and all the polling stations, all the registration centers were actually full to the capacity. So we believe that this time around, our people are actually registering and we are going to have the numbers that we require.
I know in Kisumu you have, just like other places, you have your own target. What's your target, and do you think you're going to achieve that target?
Our target is to make sure that everybody who is eligible votes. Everybody registers to vote. That is our target. We are going to at least involve every single person who turns 18 to get registered and vote. That is our target.
Akisa, you've heard from the people, one of the people who are mobilizing people here to actually register. So it shows you how serious this exercise is. It shows you how political parties are really trying to ensure that they have the numbers come the coming general election. Back to you, Akisa Wandera.
Rashid, thank you very much for that. Well, we've taken a look at various areas, Nairobi, Nyeri, Kisumu, and Nakuru County. Let's now head over to Turkana and just see how the exercise was. The ongoing mass voter registration is targeting pastoralists who have crossed over to Uganda from Turkana County in search of pasture for their livestock. According to IEBC coordinator for Turkana, Moses Munyes, more than 30,000 potential voters have crossed over to Uganda. This is due to the biting drought that continues to ravage the vast county. The official said the voter registration exercise had kicked off well, except that some insecurity incidences had negatively affected the exercise. Some of the areas hit by insecurity include Natodomeri and Kapedo.
For the populations, we are not just going to stay in the centers. We are following the populations where they are, if it is the water points or whether weddings or church gathering, all where there are gatherings. We are projecting to register not less than 100,000.
Now, efforts by politicians to have as many people registered as voters in the ongoing mass voter registration exercise did not bear much fruit yesterday in Mwingi, which is in Kitui County. Very few potential voters turned up. Mwingi Central, which registered the most in the whole of Mwingi, managed a paltry 25 people. According to the constituency registration officer, Bernard Muse, only collaboration among various stakeholders would improve the turnout. According to a voter educationist, Boniface Mutuku, there is need for more education among voters.
Watu mashinani kwanza waelewe maana haja ya kuchukua kura. Kwa maana ukiingia mashinani unakuta watu hawaelewi ni nini haja ya kupiga kura. Wanasema hatujaona mtu wa kutupea hii, hakuna hata mtu wa kutupea chai.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission officials in Malindi constituency have set up a registration center right outside the local ID registration offices in order to immediately register those collecting their IDs. The officials are, however, concerned over the high number of uncollected identity cards lying in the office of the registrar in Malindi. This in order to achieve the target of over 20,000 people during the second phase of mass voter registration. The move is also meant to ensure that anybody getting an identity card for the first time gets an opportunity to register without any challenges.
We have deployed a total of 25 BVR machines spread proportionately along within the wards. This stage of this MVR stage, this phase of MVR, we are looking at beating the target that we have set. That is a target of 20,981. Remember, during the first phase of MVR, we were able to register around 70% of the target we had set. This time we are targeting the 21,000.
Now, Now, the government has dispelled fears that the country could be facing an acute food shortage as the ongoing drought continues to persist. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Willie Bett says the government has 21 million bags of maize in store and is looking to boost strategic grain reserves by about 2 million to carry the country through to the month of June, months after the long rains are expected to have started.
As we speak now, you know, the harvesting season just ended. And therefore, this drought has actually come at a time when we actually did the harvesting. And in our main staple, which is maize, is at 21,090,000 kilogram bags, which is as a result of the latest harvest which we have. That we should be able, combined with other food crops, which is common to our people, which is rice, beans. The combination of that gives us a food balance which can take us up to June of this year, assuming that nothing happens. But we are very hopeful that rains will come. And when rains come, going forward, we will not have an issue. The situation as it is now is that we are food secure. We have food to take us up to June of this year. If we are monitoring very closely with all the stakeholders to see the trends of the rainfall. If the trends misbehave as it is right now, other strategic decisions would have to be made to ensure that the food situation of the country remains stable.
All right, let's now take a look at the hunger or the drought situation in various parts of the country. Our reporter Caroline B has been in Marsabit for a couple of days trying to document the events as they are. Very many people staring at death due to the situation. Let's speak to Caroline B and get various updates. Caroline, you look a bit uncomfortable. I don't know whether it's the wind. Sorry for that, but kindly give us an update about how things are, the situation in Marsabit right now.
Well, Akisa, it's the wind and also the dust that is blowing all over here. The weather conditions, it's very hot. No, temperatures are very high. Just an indication of how the situation of the drought is. I'm here in Marsabit town, and I'll be speaking to some of the residents concerning how the situation is and how they have been affected by it, and whether they have actually received, relief food or donations from both the county and also the national government and other stakeholders from this region. But as of today morning, as I spoke to the governor of this area, Ukuria Tani, he said that they've already had to cancel some of the projects they had so that they can be able to, manage this situation. And also this morning, they were flagging off some relief food, especially for livestock. As you know, pastures has been an issue here. There's no grass for animals to feed on. Human life is also left at its weakest. Water points have dried up, and it becomes very, very hard for the county government to manage this on its own. They also said they have not been able to receive financial assistance from the national government, and they need different stakeholders to come on board and help this as soon as possible before the situation actually gets worse. And also some of the issues that are affecting this county is that we were able to visit some of the areas that are worstly affected. That is the areas of North Hor, which has actually recorded 50% of livestock having died. And I know camels and donkeys, which are supposed to be, the animals that are kept in this area, and they cannot withstand the high temperatures. Therefore, some of them have died. Even some of the villages, they've had to burn the carcasses since there are so many. And the stench of rotting substance fills the air, and therefore they have to take in measures. Also, some of the leaders here saying that if the Kenya Meat Commission can come in fast and maybe buy the animals that are here before they can actually die, it will be very good for them to sort out these issues. And now I'm just joined by one of the residents who will tell us his name and also just tell us how the situation has affected him. Well, asante sana mzee kwa kujiunga nasi. Labda unaweza anza kwa kutueleza jina lako na unakaa upande gani katika eneo hili?
Mimi kwa jina naitwa Munya Masor, nakaa eneo la Nagayo hapa Marsabit town, mkazi hapa.
Kwa hivyo unaweza tueleza jinsi baa lenyewe limekuathiri vipi, na sijui kama umepata usaidizi kutoka serikali ya kaunti?
Bara ya njaa imetuadhiri sana. Paka mimea ile tulipanda yote hakuna moja ilitoka, mpaka ilikauka. na hakuna msaada yote tulipata kwa serikali ya county na national government mpaka sasa. Sasa sijui kama wataleta nyuma hii, lakini hakuna mtu yoyote alikuja kuangalia hiyo mimea na akakuja kutueleza shida yoyote inaweza kupatikana. Hawajakuja kuangalia na lakini wanajua. Hata ukiuliza governor hii jimbo wanaweza kujua njaa vile ilidhiri kila mtu, lakini hakuna msaada yoyote walilete.
Kwa hivyo nasema kuwa wewe kama mkulima, sijui umeweza kufuatilia swala hili na serikali ya kaunti, hasa wizara ya kilimo katika kaunti yenyewe, kuweza kujua jinsi ambavyo unaweza kupata usaidizi.
Okay, sisi mpaka sasa hatujafuatilia. Vile tuliona nyinyi ndio tuliona nyinyi mnaweza kufuatilia, na tunataka mfuatilie kwa makini zaidi kwa ajili njaa inaweza kudiri. Sasa imeanza kufika hata mtu anaweza kusikia njaa kwa ajili kitu yote ulipanda sasa imeenda karama. Hakuna kitu yote imeanza kutoka. Na hakuna serikali yoyote imekuja kutoka sasa imetusaidia. Na tujaona msaada yoyote kwa kila mtu kama national government na county government.
Kwa hivyo wewe kama mwenyeji ningependa kujua una watoto wangapi na unajikimu kivipi? Maanake umesema kwa imeweza kukuathiri na mimea yako imekufa.
Mimi pamoja na mimi niko na watoto wawili, lakini ile watoto mimi tunakaa na hawa ile sister yangu ile watoto 9 ile yatima ndio tuko pamoja nyumbani. Sasa inatudhiri. Hata mimi nimeanza nimeshinda na maisha sasa. Sasa tunangangana, lakini sasa hivi tunaona imetudhiri kabisa.
Kwa hivyo tuseme kwa siku labda mnakula nini ama mara ngapi, mnakula mara ngapi kwa siku?
Kwa sasa hivi tunaweza kula kwa mara mbili, lakini inaweza kuwa tunaweza kukula kuanzia siku kama jilali inaendelea hivi tunaweza kula siku moja kwa siku. Hata hiyo pengine hatujui kama tutapata.
Na nini hasa
kwa ngumu?
Na nini haswa unapea wale watoto? Maanake unajua tukizungumzia watoto inafaa upewe chakula special.
Sasa hii kitu ile tunakula tu chakula moja, hakuna chakula special yote mimi naweza kupea kwa ajili nikienda kibarua ile tu tunapata pamoja ndio tunakula. Iwe mahindi, iwe nini lazima tukule pamoja, ni hiyo tu.
Well, Akisa, that is just one of the residents speaking to us about how the situation is here in Marsabit. And you've heard from him 9 children and are not able to sort out the issue for the 9 children. They have to eat 2 meals a day. And if at all this situation is going to go on for long, they'll have to go on with only 1 meal a day. The county government is trying its best to ensure that relief food reaches to various people. But there is also the issue of conflict might arise because of the strained resources in various regions, especially of those that have been affected. And one of the areas that we visited is that outsiders have actually come in to get this relief food, but because they are not accounted for in the relief food, they have to share what they have with different households, making it a very, very big problem for them to be able to access this. Akisa?
Caroline, thank you very much. Very comprehensive there. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sorry about the wind and the dust. Take care of yourself. Caroline B joining us from Marsabit, just giving us the factors they are on the ground on the drought situation biting the area. Let's now cross borders. President Barack Obama welcomed the World Series champion Chicago Cubs to the White House on Monday on his last week in office. Obama is a longtime fan of the Chicago White Sox, crosstown rivals for fan support in that city. The Cubs' last World Series victory came in 1908 when Teddy Roosevelt occupied the White House. It was the longest drought in American sports. Cubs general manager Theo Epstein, who is credited with putting together the players for this championship run, joking gave a midnight pardon to Obama for being a lifelong White Sox fan. The Cubs have had a remarkable run this past season, which ended in a spectacular comeback in the World Series against the Cleveland Indians.
Here is something none of my predecessors ever got a chance to say. Welcome to the White House, the World Series champion, Chicago Cubs. They steamrolled the majors this year with a 103 win record. All you had to know about this team was encapsulated in that one moment in Game 5, down 3-1, do or die, in front of the home fans when David Ross and John Lester turned to each other and said, "I love you, man." And said, "I love you too." It was sort of like Obama-Biden moment.
All right, We wrap it up on that note. Thank you very much for joining us on a KTN News Desk. Up next, we take a look at the biggest stories of the hour on News Track. Don't go too far. Our sign language interpreter has been Lensa Owino, and I am Akisa Wandera. Good afternoon.